Thank you for joining us. I've got John with me today, and we're going to be talking about a specific program that he and the University of Connecticut have got going, but I'm going to let him share a little bit of that with you before I give it all away. Before we get started, John, can you give everybody a quick introduction?
Sure. Thanks, Emma. Hi, everyone. My name's John Wilson. I am the academic director of UConn's soon-to-be launched MS FinTech program. I've been with the University of Connecticut for about 10 years. I primarily teach in our master's program in business analytics and project management and our MBA program. In addition to the University of Connecticut, I'm a consulting data scientist with a trade organization called LIMRA, who is very active in the life insurance and financial services space. And through all my connections through LIMRA, along with what I do on the academic side, I have a pretty good understanding of what's going on in the fintech and insurtech space, and was thus tapped on the shoulder to architect this program over the course of the last year and a half.
Wonderful. Thank you for the quick introduction. So we actually met at an insurance conference, and I heard about this, and my educator heart got so excited that I needed to make sure we had a chance to kind of talk about this because it's this really cool combination of what we know is actively happening in the workforce and finally providing some more formalized education surrounding it. So to get us started, can you just share maybe a high level of kind of what the program's goals are? You mentioned fintech and insurtech, but just kind of share some of that, and then we'll dive into some more of the details here in a moment.
Sure. So, as I mentioned, in my role with LIMRA, I speak at a lot of conferences that are geared towards financial services, insurance in particular, but all financial services. And in the course of those networking discussions that you typically have at a conference, one thing that kept resonating was this dearth of talent. And about 5 or 6 years ago, everybody was bemoaning the fact that data scientists weren't available and tech talent wasn't available. But as tech talent stacks have begun to populate and that pipeline has grown, I think more companies are saying, well, we can get the finance and insurance business folks and we can get the tech folks. What we're really, really looking for are those folks who have that foundational knowledge and can bring those skills together. And that's where this FinTech program really evolved from. We decided to put a program together that featured a core curriculum that was focused on not only the business side, but also the tech side, and try to create that foundation of skills that will be well suited for students who want to either pursue careers in fintech or insurtech, regtech, or medtech, or even real estate tech. So that was the genesis of it. Conversations with industry, along with some of the things that we already do well at University of Connecticut, and thus this program was born.
Wonderful. So, were there any other drivers behind bringing forward the program beyond recognizing this gap between business and technology knowledge? Did you have conversations with employers or students that were kind of looking for maybe something a bit more practical, or any other drivers behind the program at all?
Yeah, there were two principal drivers. Anyone who follows higher education will know that MBA programs have sort of kind of waned off a little bit. And I think part of that is because MBA really deals with traditional business and traditional business acumen. And today's student is much more technologically advanced, and they desire the ability to go out there and create and to have new opportunities and fresh opportunities. They're not really thinking of something where they're going to climb the corporate ladder for a 30-year career. So you have that piece of it, and you set that aside. The second thing is just popular culture. You hear about all of these companies like Square and eBay and PayPal and all these unicorn companies uh, Lemonade and different types of companies that are, even Uber and Lyft, where they're combining business and technology to create disruption. And that's very, very appealing to many, many students. But as I mentioned earlier, many companies can't find that set of skills that are combined to really meet the needs for these disruptors to grow the way that they want to grow. So we're trying to help that pipeline. In our course of our due diligence, we quickly realized there's not many programs in the country, never mind the world, that are doing this. And we felt that there was a gap there, and we have a history of specialized master's degrees that fill these gaps as a first to market type of entrant, and this one is no exception.
Great. So I know you're not going to be able to go into all the details in regard to what your students are going to learn within the program, but would you mind giving us a taste of maybe what some of that curriculum looks like so we can understand kind of what those students are going to be digging into?
Sure. So let me just back up for a second. So typically in a business program, a graduate program, the undergrad degrees are usually business or quant related that most institutions seek. True on the tech side as well. We have a Master's of Business Analytics program, and we really look for students that have very, very strong tech skills, and then they come in here and they augment those skills and further refine their skills in the master's degree. With the FinTech program, what we're really looking for are students who are not afraid to tackle both. So, students that have a bit more versatility in their thought process and perhaps in their undergraduate training. And what we decided to do was to offer a core curriculum that's roughly balanced between the financial side of a business as well as the tech side. So, things like introduction to financial modeling, FinTech economics and business models, the types of funding mechanisms available for startups. On the tech side, predictive modeling, Python, data science, blockchain, and cryptocurrencies. All students will undergo that particular training. From there, the student can decide what they want to do with a rich set of electives. They have the opportunity to take 5 electives. And if they come from a tech background and they really want to augment their business skill, they can take a path that focuses more on business, and vice versa. If they come from a business background and really want to augment their technical skills, they can take courses in artificial intelligence and deep learning and app development and all the things that many of these disruptive companies are deploying in order for their solutions to be viable for the marketplace. A couple other things that we are doing that might be a little bit different, and it's in reaction to what we're seeing in the ecosystem, is we're pursuing students from liberal arts, things like linguistics, geography, sociology, and even political science. And the reason is when you start thinking about some of the disruptions that these companies are doing, they're really geared towards regulatory and compliance issues. They might be geared towards sustainability. When you think about companies like reinsurers or property and casualty insurers, what they're doing with climate change and the ability to use drone and satellite technology and understanding of geography would probably be very useful. And on the linguistic side, there are a lot of companies that are looking to deploy natural language processing and AI type mechanisms, and the fundamental core technology is already there. Now it becomes nuanced in terms of dialects and things of that nature, and that's where linguistics can certainly help to achieve those ends.
I'm glad to hear you guys are going after some of those liberal arts folks.
They
The
are too.
political science, sociology side of my degree thanks you for that, because I think there's a space, just like you were saying, in technology. If you're interested in it and have an aptitude for it, there are so many different small channels that you can take your career down, but you have to realize that those opportunities exist. And it's
Right.
programs like this that are making me really optimistic for what that landscape looks like moving forward.
Well, and as you mentioned earlier, Emma, we met at a conference. You and I met at a conference, and just walking around at that conference, when you look at all the exhibitors, the pure breadth of what companies are doing in the insurtech space, never mind the conferences I go to that are pure fintech or blockchain or crypto plays, is really quite staggering. And you realize that the skills that used to play well in traditional business don't play as well now. They're still important, and companies will certainly seek that. Uh, but these disruptors are looking at skills and different topics and bringing them together in new and creative ways to achieve not only business solutions but also sustainability solutions and corporate governance solutions. So the playing field has really changed incredibly so. And by going out and understanding what all these companies are doing, and some of these companies are companies that nobody's ever heard of yet, but they will,
Mhm.
uh, getting a good understanding for that is what allows us to really say, let's think innovatively and think entrepreneurially about how we construct this program, because that's who our audience is. It's not traditional business, so we don't do it in the traditional way. We need to think about our program differently, the way companies think about their solutions differently.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and share this with me and the audience. And I want to encourage anybody who's watching to make sure to make your way over to John's LinkedIn. If you're watching this here, I will have his profile linked. Make sure you connect and stay up to date with what's going on with the program. And of course, feel free to reach out to either of us if you have any questions. But thank you so much, John, and have a wonderful day, everyone.
Thanks, Emma. Appreciate it.
If you're looking for expert tips on how to get started with your transformation or looking to hone in on your approach, make sure that you subscribe to our channel to catch our weekly Digital Transformation Talk series, where we interview experts from around the world on how to make it happen.